Hey guys, CDTV, the P here, and the P of course stands for purchase a new hat. That one's kind of getting old. And today in this reaction, which I'm recording on time, I'm gonna be reacting to 12 Carat Toothache by Post Malone. 12 Carat Toothache, we've got a little bit of a rich and sad type situation going on there as well. You know, a mix of luxury and pain. But yeah, as always, I'm excited to hear this. I reacted to Post Malone's last album, Hollywood's Bleeding, back when I did reactions, the album reactions on CDTV The G. I think that's a pretty good album. There's songs from it that I still replay to this day, and I'm hoping this will be somewhat similar. There's only one song on this thing that I have heard, and that's One Right Now featuring The Weeknd. Now, I love Post Malone. And I love The Weeknd. I've done reactions to both of them. You can check it out and you'll know that I really like both artists. But that song, with both of them together, I wasn't really feeling it. Their styles do not mix, in my opinion. I've also noticed that Motley Crue isn't a single on here. You know, Motley Crue, I reacted to that as well on CDTV The G when it dropped, and I thought it was pretty good, honestly. It's a song that grew on me over time because it was a little different for Post Malone, and there was like heavy auto-tune on it and stuff like that for the most part, but the more listens I gave to it, the more I kind of enjoyed it and the more it got stuck in my head. But it's not on this project, so I'm guessing the sound of that track wouldn't really fit in with what this project is going for. That's just what I'm guessing. Let's see what the project is going for. Let's just get into it, man. Let's get started straight away with track number 1, Reputation. Okay. Yeah, I don't think Motley Crue would fit in with this so far. I love the way this is building.
I was born to take pills. I was born to chase meals. I got a reputation that I can't deny. Hold my thumb on, come my check. Let me choke on my cigarettes and heavy day.
That was a good start to the project, Reputation. Post Malone always seems to start his albums, now that I think about it, with a bit more of an emotional tone going into it. The instrumental to me on this was almost sort of Kanye-esque. I don't know if it's just because when I hear stripped down piano beats now, I think of Runaway, but Post Malone definitely did his own thing with it, and I think this did have sort of rich and sad vibes to it, in a sense. Starting off going deep on this one, and now that I think about it, I don't know, how often do we hear Post Malone just over, like, actual pianos? It seems like it's a rare thing for him, so it was also a little different to hear something like this from Post Malone. I did really love that song. I'm just interested to see how it transitions into Cooped Up, and if that's going to be more of a hip-hop banger style track with Roddy Ricch, or if it's going to continue the emotional vibe, because that's definitely a sound Roddy could pull off as well. And I always love a good bit of Roddy Ricch, so let's get into it. Track number 2, Cooped Up, featuring Roddy Ricch.
I'm about to pull out his switchboard curtains. Get him out the Bud Light, not the bourbon. I might chop the roof off the Suburbans.
Oh my god, Roddy's gonna slide on this.
Gucci, my Prada, Miyake, Louis Vuitton, and Tommy. Gotta pull up, I'ma pull up, I pull up. Cap it solid, now we real rich today. I pulled up the black badge cause it was cleaner. I tried to tell you, you probably wouldn't believe us. I'm about to pull out.
Yes, it's alright. Okay, this slow bridge is nice. Can't say that I was feeling Cooped Up as much as the first song on here. I was really excited to hear Roddy Ricch on that track, but then when his verse came on, his flow felt a little weird on it. Here's the thing, sometimes Roddy Ricch has like some of my favorite flows ever. Like, he can sound really great on a beat. Pizza, one of his own songs, he flows amazingly on that. The intro from Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, like, Roddy Ricch has amazing flows a lot of the time, but sometimes it also feels like he's not too sure what to do. He tries to make his flows unique and they just end up sounding awkward. That's the kind of vibe I got with this song. The chorus is fine. I don't think it's really going to get stuck in my head that much. The main part I liked from Post on this was the bridge. That sounded pretty smooth. To the daylight come, to the daylight come, I got sake in my tummy, cigarette in my lungs. Like, Post was flowing better than Roddy did on that little bridge right there. So yeah, Cooped Up was a bit of an underwhelming track. It didn't really hit that strongly, and going from Reputation into that was such a strange transition, you know? Let's move on to the third track on the album, Lemon Tree. Got acoustic Posty again. We'll see how this goes. I'm not the biggest fan of the sound of acoustic guitars, but this is sounding alright so far.
It's hard to know what you want, so turn around and show me that I'm better.
Man went full on Southern there.
Look around and all I see is people happy with what they're giving, and grow me something better. Hey. Blood on my hands, I'm on the fence, I double down. Life is pretty sweet, I'm told.
Lemon Tree was interesting. That pronunciation of better was unique. Obviously, that's not the only reason why I'm not crazy about this song, just the way he said one word, but overall, yeah, I wasn't too crazy about this one either. Like I said, first of all, acoustic guitars, there's something about them to me that just sounds a bit cheap and tacky, and this started off with that acoustic guitar sound. There's something about the last two songs that just feels like they're not packing a punch, like they're missing something, you know? I thought the way the track was written was pretty cool. I liked the metaphors throughout it, and the whole, you know, lemon tree thing. Some people get an apple, some people get a tangerine. Life is pretty sweet for them, but I've got a lemon tree. I don't think it's like wholly original, but it's a cool little metaphor. That's just two in a row that I'm not that crazy about, but we'll see where it goes with track number 4, Wrapped Around Your Finger.
You keep me wrapped around your finger, wrapped around your finger. I can call you right now, I've been drinking. 10 big cuties that think I'm the man, but
You might want to fact check those numbers, Posty.
I keep wondering who's the one replacing me. Take me back.
Okay, I like this little bit here.
I had your mom and daddy's house on my picket. If I didn't know what it'd be like now. I keep wondering who's the one replacing me. You keep me wrapped around your finger, wrapped around your finger. It's caught up in your orbit. I keep wondering who's the one replacing me.
Yeah, that one grew on me as it went on. Wrapped Around Your Finger got a lot better after like the first minute or two. Basically when the instrumental got a bit more exciting. And it's not like I don't like Post Malone on slower music, because Reputation has pretty much been my favorite track still on this so far. I just thought it got a lot more interesting to listen to when the instrumental picked up on this one, and got like a bit more sort of synth poppy. I liked it. It kind of reminded me of Circles from Hollywood's Bleeding with the way the bass line was going. And I liked how it went at the end with the chorus as well, when most of the instrumental just dropped out and the focus was on Post's vocals. I think that sounded really good. I'd say that's the catchiest song so far on the project. Now these next two tracks, subtlety is went out the window with the titling of these tracks, because we have I Like You, a happier song, followed by I Cannot Be, a sadder song. We'll see how I feel about it. This one features Doja Cat. It's track number 5, I Like You, a happier song.
I wanna be a friend, go shopping in a Benz. I like you, I do.
It's definitely the happiest sounding song so far.
Now that I'm famous, I got hoes all around me.
Let me know when you free, cause I've been trying to hit it all week, babe. Wonder what a nigga might do for that. I could be a shocker where roof is at.
Just want you, I just want you. Your heart's so big, but that ass is huge. Just want you.
Ooh. You know what? I Like You was pretty nice. Pretty nice. It was a happier song for this album. It was a more upbeat sound than anything else we've got on it so far. Basically, all the tracks have sounded kind of different, which I guess is a good thing and a bad thing. It's kind of hard to tie down what Post Malone's kind of style is that he's going for on this project. It's feeling sort of like a hit compilation album, you know, rather than something that has its own focused theme to it, you know. That's what I'm feeling with the album so far. But in terms of this as its own song, I quite enjoyed it. I always like a happy, upbeat song. It's the happy song of the album. Will we have other happy songs on the project? I don't know, because they're not subtitled that way, but we will see. And let's see where Post Malone goes with track number 6. Fucking hell. I Cannot Be a Sadder Song, featuring Gunna.
And can I just sleep when I'm so fucking tired? So tell me right now what you want me, what you want me, what you want me to be. What you wanna do is fuck me up. Ooh, what you're not gonna do is top me off. You trip me off just to watch me fall. Smoke another cigarette, wash the last one down.
Is Gunna an appropriate feature for this?
Got a cousin diamond ring and no, he don't got a wife. Got a large amount of things I can't tell her the price.
Whoa, this is like the furthest out of his vocal range that I've heard Gunna trying to go before. Damn, he brought out something special for Post Malone.
Pull up in a hot top, it's a drop top. Told you we be multi-millionaires, my life. Still a bitch, we ain't living free. Gotta keep it silent and we all agree. Free when you hold me so tight.
How is this happening? How was Gunna my favorite part of that track? I actually think Gunna was a fitting feature for this album. I don't know about in terms of the lyrics. I guess the lyrics kind of worked with the theme of the song. He was mainly dropping in lines about how rich he was, and then sort of circling around to tie that into the relationship theme of the song. But yeah, I actually think I prefer Gunna to Post Malone on there, which I wasn't expecting going into it, but there you go. In terms of Post this album, you know what I think part of it is? I feel like Reputation set me up to expect something a little bit different and a bit more, maybe experimentation so far from Post on this album, but really most of the tracks so far have been quite similar to stuff he's made before. Everything else has sounded a bit monotonous to me almost. There's something about this that just isn't connecting with me right now. But hey, let's see where this goes. We're about to reach the halfway point of this album, so track number 7, Insane.
Sent a package, she was acting crazy, going bad shit in the backseat. To my top, like my ex, I'ma cut it off completely. Going bad shit in the backseat, rain, she was classy. Second verse, yeah, second verse, again. Keep my cocky tight like a baby in a manger. When you go around me, she treat you like a stranger. I'm a bastard, hey, don't believe me, you can ask her, hey.
Yeah, that instrumental was pretty nice. Insane was one of the songs I like the most on here so far. In terms of just being a bit of a banger, you know, this was clearly a much more rap influenced track. After hearing this, Motley Crue would maybe fit in before or after this. This album doesn't really feel like it has a theme with the sound anyway, it's just doing everything. It did remind me of another track that Post has done before, which is Wow. Something about the way the beat bounced just reminded me of that song. It's not like the craziest song ever, but it was pretty catchy, and I enjoyed it to a degree. The production was great on it, production from Louis Bell and Post Malone. So the first half of this album is definitely been lacking what feels like replayable songs to me, which is pretty crazy for a Post Malone album. But we'll go into the second half, see if it has a little bit more going on. Track number 8, Love/Hate Letter to Alcohol, featuring Fleet Foxes.
I should've kept that shit to myself. I had 32 teeth in my mouth. Some went away. This is my love-hate letter out to alcohol. Took another shot, fell out of my fucking chair, swinging for his eye. Why'd you have to go and fucking roll my life? You're the reason why I got my ass kicked.
Okay, that one. That was one of my favorites again. I really liked Love/Hate Letter to Alcohol. That is a track that was more similar to Reputation in a sense. You know, it was one of the more emotional ones. There was more interesting stuff in the lyrics to me, in my opinion, because lyrically I didn't find songs like I Like You or Cannot Be super interesting. It's exactly what you expect from the title. It's a love/hate letter, more sort of hate letter to alcohol, and the whole song just, you know, chronicles that toxic relationship that Post feels that he has with alcohol. A really intense and sort of dramatic sound with the instrumental. I like how grand this one sounded and how powerful the instrumental is. So Love Hate Letter to Alcohol, that's another one of my favorites up there. So let's move on to the next one. Track number 9, Wasting Angels, featuring the Kid LAROI, a collab that just felt like it was gonna happen, you know. They're styles that I could see working well together, so let's see how it goes on this song.
Oh, this life is crazy. Oh, vivid is bad where I'm laying my head. This is like a summer flame that got away. I won't let another angel go to waste. You're doing the most. I don't need somebody to be the one to keep me honest. This is like a summer flame that got away. I won't let another angel go to waste. If I never, I should listen to you now.
That was pretty nice. That was pretty nice. Ever since Insane, things have got a little better. I think the Kid LAROI works great with Post Malone. I thought he would, and he definitely did. I think the Kid LAROI is pretty damn good, and I really liked him on this track, and I liked Post on here too, and just the overall vibe of the track was really nice. Even when it's like an upbeat Post Malone song, it does have almost sort of like a melancholy vibe to it, just because that's the way his voice sounds. Let's go on to the next one on the album, track number 10, Euthanasia.
It didn't bother me too much. Euthanasia ain't gonna hurt at all. They say it's painless. Euthanasia.
Another really somber, more gloomy track. I wasn't too crazy about that one. In terms of the sound of the track, I don't think it's one I'm gonna come back to. I think the lyrics were somewhat interesting. It seemed like it was kind of drawing comparisons between Post Malone's like alcoholism and smoking of cigarettes and all that kind of stuff. Between that and, you know, like self-sedation and death and euthanasia. And I also quite like how that was also tied in with the instrumental, where the beeping in it sounded like, you know, those hospital like heart rate monitor things. So overall, I thought it was decently put together, and the theme of it was really consistent. It's just not one I'm really going to listen to. So let's move on to the next one. Track number 11, When I'm Alone. Then we just jump straight into something fast-paced like this. It is such a strange mix of sounds on here.
I want it all, I want it all. I push so hard, I break it. We go to bed, she be creeping on my side. I was drinking all day, I let her spend the night. Just tell me who's to blame for this.
Certainly much more fast-paced than Euthanasia. There just has been such a random assortment of like sounds and styles and like different subgenres throughout this project. It feels pretty weird on this one. I don't think it works as well as it did on Hollywood's Bleeding. I like the way he was flowing on verse 2. Verse 2 was a bit more faster paced, and it was quite interesting because I don't feel like we've heard much like that on this album so far. Post was almost hitting a little bit of a rapping flow at the start of that. I thought that was pretty interesting. But overall, it's not one I have a crazy amount to say about again. I mean, you guys can kind of see it playing out in this reaction, but something about this album just isn't clicking with me, and I think it's so far shaping up to be my least favorite out of his last 3 at least. There's less I feel like I want to come back to than I was expecting going into this. Let's move on to the next one. We actually only have 2 new songs left because I've heard one right now. So track number 12, Waiting for a Miracle.
I understand that I'm too weak, and everything done for the dead after the dead is for the living.
In the lyrics, there's definitely more of a theme of death on this one than there's ever been on any other Post Malone album, I'm pretty sure. It felt more sort of like interlude-y, and it was similar to the first track, Reputation. It's the structure of this album that's really thrown me off, you know? It feels like that song after When I'm Alone, and then it goes into One right now, It's such a strange placement for a track like that. I can't be the only one that feels that way. But regardless, let's move on to the second last track on the album. Like I said, I have heard this one, so this isn't going to be a first reaction, but we'll just go through it, see if I feel any differently about this on, you know, this listen. Track number 13, One Right Now, featuring King Abel, The Weeknd. It's like I said at the start of the video, I like both artists a lot, but I just don't feel like their styles work well together at all. It just doesn't feel like they're supposed to be on a track together. One Right Now was a song I was excited for when it was announced, but I also did think to myself, maybe this isn't really gonna work though, and in my opinion, it doesn't, but that's just how I feel about it. Let's move on to the 14th and final track on the album, New Recording 12, January 3rd, 2020. Oh man, that was before all the shit went down. Did Hollywood's Bleeding drop in 2019? Fuck me, it doesn't feel that long ago. Wow, it did. This is his first album in like 3 years. Oh, that's from, this is Euthanasia.
Choir of angels, Euthanasia.
So it's kind of a strange way to end the album. And that's it. That's the end of 12 Carat Toothache by Post Malone. So, New Recording 12, January 3rd, 2020. I can't see many people referencing that track by name when they speak about it. But yeah, I feel like that was an odd way to end it. It was basically the initial recording of what was eventually made into Euthanasia. I'm not too sure what the purpose of that was. It sounded very different though. It didn't even sound like Post Malone to me on there. So yeah, that's the end of the album, 12 Carat Toothache by Post Malone. So let's just get into my initial thoughts about this project. I'm gonna have to be just honest straight away from my initial thoughts on this first listen. I'm not the biggest fan of this album. I didn't really like it. Things could change over time and music from this project definitely could grow on me. I think this is the first time I've listened to one of his albums straight away and didn't feel that great about the album as a whole. There was something about this project that just felt strange to me and almost like incomplete or watered down or simplistic in a way. It's such a random compilation of songs. I think that's one of the main things that messed me up, is just the structure of this album is so weird and random. It just feels really weird to listen to. Just based off this first listen, I didn't like it as much as Hollywood's Bleeding. I didn't like it as much as Beer Bongs and Bentleys. I love that album. I don't even think I liked it as much as Stoney. This one, there was just a lot less there for me. I don't think there's a lot of replay value in this. There was songs I like on here, but there's nowhere near as many as I was expecting to like, and nowhere near as many as I've liked from previous albums. Yeah, let's go through my favorite and least favorite tracks before we dive into more of my thoughts on this project, because for the most part, it could be summed up by I don't really enjoy it that much. Favorites on here. Gotta be Reputation. That was probably, still throughout the whole thing, the best one on the album. I can't just pick the ones that I liked or I kind of liked. I have to pick the ones that are my absolute favorites here. Insane for me, honestly. Love Hate Letter to Alcohol and Wasting Angels, I guess. I'd say that's my favorites right there. Least favorites is a bit harder to pick because it's like there was nothing that I was like really put off by on this album. There was nothing that I thought was really bad. Most of the songs that I didn't like, I just thought they were just not notable at all, really. But Cooped Up will be a least favorite because that was just super underwhelming. Don't know what Roddy was doing on there. Lemon Tree, probably Euthanasia. Like I said, the fact that I dislike it has nothing to do with the themes of the song. I just didn't really like how it sounded, and I'm not ever gonna come back to it, I don't think, so that's got to be a least favorite. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. And probably One Right Now, because like I said, just a bad mix of styles in my opinion. It was just kind of lackluster. There wasn't a lot on this album that was hitting for me. The Post Most vocals were fine. On some tracks there was a bit of experimentation, but it was nothing crazy. There was only like maybe a small handful of hooks on this that I find to be really catchy, which is usually a great element of Post music. Post is usually great at making hits in my opinion. On this album I didn't get much of that. It was maybe Wrapped Around Your Finger. That one was super catchy. That's still kind of stuck in my head. At this very moment I can't remember how much else sounded from it. That's the main one that stuck in my head. Everything else is kind of gone. I really wanted to like it, and I do still love Post Malone as an artist, but if I don't like the album, I'm gonna say that, and that's how I feel. So what did you guys think about 12 Carat Toothache by Post Malone? Let me know down in the comments below. Some of you guys will think I'm tripping for that opinion, some of you guys will agree with it, but that's the way music goes. There's different opinions, and this of course is just mine. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction, and yeah, I actually reacted to this one on time today. The album came out today, and I'm reacting to it today. So I'm telling you guys, in this new apartment, I'm trying to be more on time with shit. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next video, whatever that may be. And this is your boy, CDTV, the P, signing out.